What's your question, Eddie? Is vegan plant the same as vegetarian? I don't know what you mean by vegan plant. A plant cannot be vegan because, well, I mean, the plant itself can be suitable for vegans. But veganism is an ethical stance. Plants don't have ethical stances. Plant-based. Okay, so let me tell you the difference. Veganism is an ethical stance, an ethical decision to not exploit animals. Plant-based is a diet, so a dietary choice to not eat animals or products of animals. And vegetarian is also a diet that just excludes meat. So a plant-based diet is part of veganism, because if you're vegan, you don't want to eat animals because that's exploiting them, or products of animals because that's exploiting them. But veganism extends beyond diet. Vegans also don't wear leather. They don't wear animals' skin. They avoid products that have been tested on animals. They don't use animals as modes of transportation. They just don't use animals, period. Because that's slavery, right? Using animals is slavery. So vegetarians eat dairy and use certain products. Yeah, vegetarianism is just a diet. I was vegetarian like 5 years before I went vegan. And then when I learned about the dairy industry, that sent me down a rabbit hole. I learned about the egg industry, I learned about the honey industry, I learned about animal testing, and I just came to the conclusion that I have no good moral justification to exploit animals. Roadkill or dumpster diving are arguably vegan. Arguably? I mean, arguably, I technically don't see an ethical issue with eating roadkill. But I don't think that it's vegan because you're viewing the animal as a resource. You know what I mean? Vegans don't view animals as resources. I don't view animals as food. I view them as individuals now. I used to view them as food, but I don't anymore. I've changed the way that I think. That dairy video had me crying. Me too, David. That video, I watched that video 8 years ago, and I went vegan. What a cute hat. Isn't it cute? You like my ears? Yeah. But it's the reality of the dairy industry, It's the reality, unfortunately. And yeah, we've been conditioned to think oh, cows milk. But that's not how it is. It's not like cows milk, chickens eggs. It's mothers that make milk. Mothers make milk. Yes, dairy is scary. Dairy is scary. That's the video. I have it pinned to the Green Vegan Goddess profile. And chickens don't just lay eggs. Everyone with the female reproductive system has eggs. And we've been conditioned. We've been totally conditioned. Because if you go outside and you see a bluebird's nest, and you see the bluebird has some eggs and she's sitting on her eggs, you think, oh my god, that's so beautiful. The bluebird laid her eggs. Her eggs. She's taking care of her eggs, trying to hatch babies or something. They're hers. But whenever we see a chicken and the chicken lays an egg, we think, that's mine. I'm going to take it. That's totally conditioning. A chicken is just any other bird. They're just any other female. And their bodies are not our resource. Their reproductive system is not our resource. So that's another thing. People that say that they're feminist, I'm like, okay, so you have to go vegan. If you're feminist, you have got to go vegan. Because the entire animal agriculture industry is built on exploiting the female anatomy. That's what made me stop dairy. Yeah, Me too. Say it turned me vegan. No, old school. So you're viewing the animals as a resource. That's the problem. You're viewing the animals as a resource. The animals are not resources. They're not here to serve you. There's no ethical way to exploit an animal. Yeah, Earthlings, Joaquin Phoenix narrates it. Yeah, that's a good one. I recommended to David Dominion documentary, which it's really similar to Earthlings, but it's kind of more up to date. I haven't seen Earthlings, so I don't know, but Dominion documentary is good. And then, of course, Gary Yourofsky's speech is very eye-opening. You got some plant-based chicken nuggies, plant-based beef. Nice, Eddie. Yeah, so even backyard chickens, that's still exploitation. Even if you have backyard chickens, that's still exploitation. Because, like, think about it in the human context. What if I adopted a bunch of females, specifically because they're females, and I want to use their ovulation? It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird, and it's not mine. It's not mine to take. That's the wrong reason to adopt somebody. You don't adopt somebody to exploit them. You adopt them because you want to care for them. And then, you know, another thing, like, in the egg industry, there's a culling process. Because it's only the females that can make the eggs. You know, the males can't make the eggs. So what do you think they do with all the baby boys in the egg industry? They kill them. The day that they're born. The day that they're born, they separate the males and the females, because the males are, like, considered a waste product, since they can't lay eggs. And they kill them the day that they're born, for the crime of being born a male. And then the females are just exploited their whole lives. And they're selectively bred and genetically modified to lay, like, 300 freaking eggs a year. This is extremely hard on their bodies. You know, chickens in the wild that haven't been tampered with by humans, they're only laying 8 to 15 eggs a year. Just like a human ovulation cycle, because it is an ovulation cycle. But these chickens have been selectively bred and genetically modified to lay eggs almost every single day. It's extremely hard on their bodies. So, and they lose so much nutrients. You know, I volunteered at animal sanctuaries that have rescued chickens from egg farms. And what they do is they feed the eggs back to the chickens so that they can get some of their nutrients back. That is the humane thing to do. But, you know, and if you think about like having backyard chickens and you buy a bunch of female chickens from an egg farm or a chicken farm or whatever, just picture, okay, so I have let's say you have 6 female chickens. That means 6 baby boys were killed in the culling process. Because it's the ratio of male to female births in chickens. It's 1-to-1, you know? So these are other things we just don't think about, but we should think about them. Because it matters. They often break legs from a calcium deficiency. Yeah, it's true. They can't even... So there's 2 types of chickens in animal agriculture. There's the egg-laying chickens, which I just talked about. Then there's also what we call broiler chickens, which are like the meat chickens. These chickens are also selectively bred and genetically modified just to be like meat machines, basically. So by the time they're 8 weeks old, they can't even stand up. They can't even stand up because they've gotten so fat. Their body can't hold their weight. It's truly heartbreaking. Chickens are the most exploited land animal on the planet. The most exploited land animal on the planet. We kill tens of billions of them every single year. I think it's 60 billion of them we kill a year. Don't quote me on that number, but They're the most exploited land animal on the planet. And they're just a bird. Like, and they're smart, you know? They form complex relationships. They are able to feel both physical and emotional pain. They care for their friends and their family. They're similar to us in all of the ways that matter. People like to focus on the differences, but they're similar in all the ways that matter. Hey Jack, circus animals making the most sad, especially the elephants. Yeah, I hate the circus animals. It's so sad. Animals aren't entertainment. Animals are not resources. They're not ingredients. They're not fashion. They're not clothes. They're not experiments or testing subjects. Not entertainment. They're their own individuals. They're their own individuals with their own subjective thoughts and feelings. And they want to live. We're literally animals too. It's true. They can count. Chickens can count. I believe it. You've seen chickens play football? Chickens are so cute. Yeah, but we're an animal too. The human animal. Lots of people like forget that, and it's like we need to have better biology classes for people like us. 'Cause how could you forget? Us two are animals. I love ducks. Ducks are amazing. Are you OMG? What? If I could be any animal... Oh, can you not see the cooking books? If I could be any animal, it would be a duck. They swim, they walk on land, and they can fly. Master of the elements. Ducks are freaking awesome. Yeah, I'll show the cooking process. I don't know the cooking process yet. I'm kind of making it up as I go. They also shouldn't teach that humans are omnivores in biology. Well, humans are, what is the word? I think chance omnivores, what? Omnivores by chance, or I can't think of the word, but basically, opportunistic, thank you. Opportunistic omnivores. You know, so we can eat animals. We've evolved to be able to eat animals and their products, but we don't have to. And they should teach in biology that humans are healthier not eating animals or the products of animals. You know, the number one cause of death for humans on the planet is heart disease, and when you go vegan, you significantly reduce your risk of getting heart disease or other chronic diseases like cancer and diabetes. They should teach that. They should teach that when you're following a plant-based diet, you're gonna, like, people that follow plant-based diets live longer on average. They should teach that. But you know, you don't have to do it for health. Like, if health isn't a concern for you, you know, you can be a junk food vegan. You can be vegan and not be healthy. That's also possible. You could just eat potato chips and vegan ice cream and whatever and still be vegan. That's fine. But, so I think it's important to remember the reason for being vegan. The reason for being vegan isn't the health benefits. It's not the environmental benefits. Even though there are health benefits and environmental benefits, the reason to be vegan is because exploiting animals is wrong. Just like how, like, you know, it's like you wouldn't be against racism because it makes you more likely to get a job or whatever, right? It's not about how it benefits you. It's about the fact that it's wrong to exploit animals. But we have the teeth and intestines of herbivores. That's also true. Carnivores have a locked jaw and they can only rip and tear, like chew up and down. Herbivores are able to, like, grind plant material. We also, like, our intestines are, the length of herbivores. Carnivores have very short intestines. But I forgot what I was gonna say. Most people are lactose intolerant anyway. Are people lactose intolerant? Are they lactose intolerant? Or are they just not a baby cow? You know what I mean? Like, the only one that needs to be drinking a cow's milk is her baby. The only one that needs to be drinking a human's milk is her baby. The only one that needs to be drinking a cat's milk is her kitten. The only one that needs to be drinking giraffe milk is their baby. It's so weird that we drink milk from cows. And we don't think of it as being weird because we grow up with it and it's what we've been taught our whole lives. But if you just think about it, it's super freaking weird. And only herbivores sweat. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, thanks for the fact. Hey Prism, welcome. The term lactose intolerant is so stupid. I think so too. Nobody's lactose intolerant. You're just not a baby cow. Go vegan, yes. I've always wondered what the first person to drink cow's milk was thinking. Yeah, it's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. And it's unconsensual. Milking, honestly, milking is molesting. The animals aren't able to give us consent. Milking somebody unconsensually is molesting. And it's wrong.